So why can't DJs sell their DJ services that's actually tangible for 3 times the rate? Why is that not possible?
I have no idea. This lady is getting away with selling the sun. And she's suing eBay for telling her she can't do it. It's an Italian thing. She's from Italy.
It's an Italian thing.
She's from Italy.
It can be all summed up by saying it's an Italian thing. That's what it is.
So if you want to go buy
that's what crazy Italians do. That's a terrible thing to say, Bill. It's an Italian thing.
Well, I would read you. There's a website that she has, Productos Angeles Duran.
No, really. Let's talk about Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, she's not selling anything.
Let's talk about what matters.
That would be an interesting story, wouldn't it?
I'm happy for Bruce.
Yeah.
I think there should be a new box of Wheaties, frankly.
Oh my gosh, that would be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, before and after.
Right. And he has to pose the same exact way.
Yes.
Running over
the
hurdle.
The hurdle.
That's what it is. He's running over hurdles. And then on the back, he's standing there holding a bowl of Wheaties. If Saturday Night Live hasn't thought this up yet, we need to send it in. And maybe we'll become writers on Saturday Night Live.
I think that'd be fantastic. Not necessarily. It wouldn't have to be before and after, like then and now, or where is he now?
Right.
Still a champion.
Still a champion.
What would he have a bowl of?
Do you think they make him run in the same outfit that he was on the cover of Vanity Fair with?
Well, no. Well, why? No, why?
I suppose I'd be saying she.
She, sure.
Yeah, well, that's the whole reason for this whole thing is he thinks of himself as a she, or she identifies herself as a female, and that's the whole reason behind this. Did you know she's getting the Arthur Ashe Award, Arthur Ashe Courage Award?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, good.
I don't know when that's going to happen, but it was announced not long ago. So,
well, I mean,
she got a new outfit and some new extra stuff.
When I say this, I'm not being ironic, but it takes a lot of balls to actually come out like that.
Yeah, it does.
Or you know what I mean? To do that, to go, hey world, especially when you're like really visible and you're not going to, most people aren't going to be like, wonderful for you. Right. They're not. They're going to be like all uptight about it, like it somehow affects them.
Right. And that's why I've never come out about it, because I have tiny, tiny testicles.
And you're afraid. Well, then you'd be perfect. You could be Caitlin Hermann.
Oh, thank you. Hey, welcome to the Jason and Caitlin show. I'm Caitlin Hermann.
I'm Jason Jones. And Bill has a brand new offering. You can either have your host be Caitlin or Bill.
That's true.
He'll come either way, whatever makes you most comfortable.
The most attractive way you think it might be.
Yes.
I'll do it.
Whatever you think is the prettiest.
Right. And I'm trusting that if you think that my female side is the prettiest, you probably are not looking at this the correct way.
Or you just need to see more pictures.
Yeah, I'm not on Vanity Fair. I'm on Guns and Ammo is what I'm on. That's what I'm going to be on.
Is that your audience?
Right. Once I'm dressed up like that, oh yeah.
Well, I'd rather not analyze that.
Oh, okay.
I really wouldn't. Oh, some more silliness here on the show as we talk about everything mobile entertainer, mobile DJ. We had a comment actually on one of our shows. Can you believe that?
What? People actually listen to our show?
And took the time to comment.
We should call them and personally thank them. Send them a box of brownies.
We'll do that next week on the Procrastination Show.
Who was the person that commented, and was it a nasty comment? Oh,
no.
I hope so.
It was actually a rather insightful one with a question posed at the end, and a really good question.
Which show was it?
That comes up a lot. It was the poop versus comments about us.
Oh, the story about how people are selling their feces and making big money.
Yeah. They're making more money than a lot of DJs do all year. Right. With their DJ company, kind of thing like that. And so he commented on it. We were talking about like kind of working with clients in advance and that sort of thing. And so he called and he shared a story. He said, this is a DJ Miowski, and these comments are written on the YouTube page on that episode.
DJ Miowski?
Dated May 21st, 2015. Miowski. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, cats, they make big money on the internet.
So imagine his voice.
Okay. You going to do it? Come on, you got to do it.
I said imagine his voice. I didn't say I was going to try to be his voice. I don't know what his voice sounds like.
Meow, 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 meow.
So you can translate this
Bill
into
Hermann,
all our
Jason
cat
Jones,
listeners.
meow, meow, meow.
I just actually had a gig last weekend where the clients were a nightmare for me to work with. I kept trying to portray my professionalism by communicating and trying my best to gather as much information as possible so I would be able to bring a proper performance at the reception. I use Gig Builder and have all of my forms on there.
Yeah.
I limit the song requests to 25 inside of the automated request builder provided by Gig Builder so that I have room to work with and play to the guests.
Okay.
They emailed me a 64 song request list because the limiter wouldn't allow them to make more. I met with the groom the week of the event to go over the timeline that they had put together so that I could convince them to make adjustments and I could put together the final copy for them.
Okay.
Every time I approached them, they kind of gave me the cold shoulder. And I was getting the vibe that they were thinking, you are just a DJ, stay out of our business and just do what we tell you to do. Mm-hmm. I'm sharing this because I feel that you briefly touched on this. Now, most of my sales are done online or on the phone. I have a newborn, and my wife works in an irregular schedule, so I don't have the ability to have several client meetings. Can you guys speak more on how to build trust from the initial inquiry all the way up during the event? Go.
Well, let's see here. Trust with anybody is really about communication. And about being straight and honest about what you can do, what you can't do, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, mm-hmm. and being that open and honest from the sales conversation before they even hire you. Speaking specifically to the song list, I'm very specific when I talk to them about what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do when I sit down with them in the sales.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a wedding, so by default, I'm going to play nothing that's overtly violent or overtly sexual because you got a family party. You got grandma there, you got kids there, you got families with kids, you got people with just, weird thoughts about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, and there's an easy way to just avoid that stuff. Mm-hmm. By default, I'll do that for you. And then I talk about their list. I give them a place where they can write down 10 of their favorite songs. And at the same time, I say, you can give me 100. Go nuts. I'm okay. It's a lot of work for you to sit down and come up with 100 songs. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sit down with you in a meeting a good month beforehand. We're going to look at that long list you give me. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you within that list what songs work and what songs don't work because I've got this experience and you don't. I'm going to explain to you, I know you want a lot of this stuff that people won't dance to, but you realize that means people won't dance to it, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm the expert. I'm telling you they're not going to dance. If you want to be right, that's okay. We'll see if you're right on the day of, but then I'm not necessarily responsible either if they don't dance, if I tell you now that they're not going to.
Sure.
If they want music that's really, really nasty that I wouldn't necessarily play, I'll let them put it on the list. I'll even tell them, hey, you two can choose something inappropriate if you want, but I will have a conversation around why we probably shouldn't.
Sure. And what you're describing is you're describing having a process,
right?
Having a process in which to work with the client. And what I'm hearing from you is that you're saying to the clients from the very first moment, hey, this is what it's like to work with me.
Right.
And this is the process that I have to be able to create the experience that you want.
And you've hired an expert who knows, who's going to not just keep it to himself that we probably should have used that wrench on your plumbing.
Sure.
As opposed, because after the wedding's done, I can literally under my breath say, I could have told him that. But I don't want my plumber to tell me that.
Well, right. That's an epic fail because it's like, because you failed to use your expertise to be able to give them the opportunity to make an informed choice.
Right.
So you inform them and then they make a choice kind of thing. Something that was really telling in DJ Miowski's statement of his process is that in his process, he said that he meets with the clients, or in this particular case, I don't know if this is how it is with all of them, but in this case, he set up a meeting for the week before to go over what they already created and convince them to change it.
Right.
And
I
so,
heard that too.
I would say there probably isn't a lot of workability in that, because as far as they're concerned, they're done. And
they have created something that they are excited about.
That they're excited about, and they think works just fine.
Right. And for you to come in and say, I'm going to convince you of something else because I think it's better, to them sounds like you're telling them that this is really more about me because I'm going to look better if I do this because I like doing this, and because I like doing this, you're going to like. So I'm convincing you to do something you don't want to do.
Or even if he's coming from the purely like, hey, I know how this goes and I want to make this great for you.
Right.
Still, there's an element of making them wrong for what they had already figured out and they'd already done. Right. And then coming in at this late hour to say, no, let's change all this. So what I would encourage is get this conversation going early in the process. Early in the process of like, not only how this works for me, but that this is one of the things that has been super effective for me in conversations, so that I'm not making them wrong about any choice that they make.
Right.
Is to say, if they go, you know what, we want to play chamber music the whole night and we want people to dance to it. And I could say, okay, great, we can do that. Here's what's likely going to happen.
Right. And here's from my experience.
From my experience, this is what's likely going to happen. Is that the outcome that you want?
Right.
And if they need some clarification on that, or if they're like, nope, that's what I want. It's like, great, well then we'll set it up for everybody so that they understand that this is what you love and it's something you're sharing.
Right.
And then, there you go. And you're not just standing back there rolling your eyes with your arms crossed, going like, oh, this could have been so much better, but they were all bent on this.
Well, another reason why this is so important to start this conversation from the sales place before you get hired, and then let them know that we're going to have a conversation a month before, 2 months before, over those choices, so that I understand what's important to you, you understand what I can do for you around what's important to you, not so I can tell you about all the cool things that I can do for you, but really so that we really understand each other. Because now, once you really understand what's important to them, now DJ Miowski could have said, oh, well, you want that? Well, I've got a thing that I could do that could enhance that place. Do you think that's a great idea? As opposed to, all right, it doesn't look like you're doing a lot of stuff, so I'm going to try to convince you to do some more things. And to them, like you said, it feels like, you're telling me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm saying.
Sure. Or and the thing is, if your interaction from the very beginning has been, we'll go online, fill out my forms, and then we'll talk later.
Right. You become kind of DIY, like the client knows better than me. I'm giving you a lot of information.
You've let them just kind of make whatever choices they want. Like you're just going to do whatever they choose to do based on the information that they have.
Right.
Which that can work if you're just going to take the sheet and show up and deliver that.
And that may or may not have been what DJ Miowski wants out of his forms.
Yes.
But if you're not used to sitting down with your clients, or if within the sales process you're not saying, okay, now, and once you go through those forms and you fill out all of that preliminary information, we are going to sit down and go over those things so that we can really hammer out the details so I can really understand. That now sets you up as an expert who's going to make sure that the choices they made were successful choices and are going to be successful choices.
Right.
Plus, another thing that I learned early on, but later on in my career than I should have, was the difference between what I think is a successful evening and what my client thinks is a successful evening. And a great example of that is I had and it speaks kind of to this music thing, because I did an event at the Como Zoo, and a client of mine sat down with me, and they put out a bunch of music that was almost as good as chamber music when it came to dancing. There's a radio station in the Twin Cities called Cities 97. Doesn't exist really anymore, but they played really cool eclectic music. And one of the things,
singer-songwriter, acoustic, guitar player.
And it's one of the most popular things about it was their acoustic sunrise show, and I loved it too, and so did this client of mine. And they laid me a list of all the acoustic sunrise songs, and they said, pick from the Cities 97 samplers, which are really cool, but they're really oddly eclectic, and you have to pay attention to them because they aren't familiar at all, but they're really interesting and really great music. And they had pretty much said, that's all we want. And this is a list of 150, and I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to get to 150 for your evening, but okay. Second of all, you realize that if I play this by 9:30, if the dance begins at 8, by 8:30, 9:30, people will be gone. People aren't going to dance to this. Well, we're going to dance to it. And I said, great. No, I understand that you love it. You're going to dance to it. How many other people within those 300 that are there are going to dance to it too? Well, me and my friends. Well, how many of those? Well, probably 14, maybe. I said, okay. So if I do this, and by 9:30, you and your 14 friends are still there, and you're kind of maybe sort of dancing to a few of them here and there, is that the vision for success that you have for your night?
Mm-hmm.
And they went, yes. Huh. Okay. So when I did introduce it, like you said, I introduced it like, okay, now this couple they have a really interesting taste in music, and one of the things they wanted to do for you this evening is to share that taste of music with you. So you're going to hear a lot of music that you've never heard before, but very interesting and very fun. Get a glass of wine, sit back and listen, or come and dance with us. So we'll really sell them on why it's important to these two.
Right.
Now, by 9:30, I was like a swami. Okay, the place was empty. They didn't have 14 people; they had more like 10. But they were fine. They were excited. They danced, those 10 people, to their weird music all the way till midnight. They were ecstatic. They were happy. They tipped me an enormous amount of money. But me, I even left, even that night, even after having that conversation, I left going, man, what a horrible night, man. I'm really, because we're DJs. Our success is crazy dance floor, beer flying everywhere, sweating and dripping and panting at breath and begging you never to stop.
Yeah.
That's success for us. That's not success for our clients oftentimes.
Well, and that speaks to an Achilles heel, I think, not just us as DJs, but a lot of people in the service provider industry is stop trying to sell people on what you think they should want. Find out what they really want, and then see what really matters. What really matters, and then see what you can do to enhance that. It's like no. You. It's like if you had said no. You guys, you're missing the boat here. You're gonna have a horrible time.
Right.
So like, no, we think this would be a great time. No, this will be terrible. I know. I've done millions of these. This is how it should go. Like there's only one way for it to go. Right. Kind of thing. And it was like it was their event, and you helped them to create it the way they want, and they were very certain about some things. It wasn't like they were like, because if they were just like, it's going to be a raging dance party, everyone's going to stay to the end, and after you gave them that choice, it's not like they went like, well, gosh, we want everybody to be jumping up and down and hopping like crazy. This music isn't going to do that. And then they would probably come around with like, well, then maybe we should do it differently. That's happened too in conversations that I've had. I haven't had your specific example, but I mean, it happened. It's happened in those conversations. But when they're like, no, we're really clear, then they're making an empowered, informed choice. So they're not going to be like, everybody left. You're like, well, we talked about this. Right. It's like this is all laid out.
Right. And it really, and to speak to his question, and I think the what really pinpoints the answer is, within your process of getting to know them before they hire you, make sure they get to know you, and be sure that you get to know exactly what's important to them and what is their definition of a successful evening. And then you can speak to whether or not either you can make that happen or you even want to make that happen.
Right. So, in closing, it really, building trust really has to do with, like Bill said, it comes down to communication and really being straight, giving them empowered choices based upon your expertise so that they still choose and you're not pressing upon them on like what they should do or what you think should be fun for them. Yeah. And then really listening to really discover what that is. You don't have to meet people in person anymore. If it doesn't work for you, there's things called GoToMeeting, there's Skype, there's Google Hangout. Everybody who's getting married, except for maybe really old people doing their third marriage, use
bringing
these
up their
things.
Rotary phones. How you doing?
Yeah. You could still have face to face. They don't even have to be on the phone. They can be face to face. Because I always prefer face to face. I want to see how they react. Right. I want to see, get that body language and all that when we're planning and
we
preparing.
Speak to this specifically in this kind of active listening in our workshop, the Entertainment Experience, which is we've got one coming up in November. We've got seats available. You want to know more about it? Go to BillCreates.com or find me on the web, on Facebook, or look through us through our Facebook page. If you haven't liked us on Twitter, if you haven't liked us on Facebook, if you haven't gone to our website, if you haven't called us personally, our numbers are out there. Come by my house and scare my children
and hang out. It'll be a great time. Let us know, what do you do to build trust with your clients as you're developing that relationship and going up on the show. Leave your comments below here on the YouTube page, or add to the Bill and Jason Show page on Facebook and add your comments there. We can't wait to hear from you.
See you next time.
Broadcasting from high atop planet Earth at a rate of 96 kilobytes sampled per second over the interweb in an effort to stop glorifying being busy. This has been an Entertainment Experience production.